And I really am looking forward to this because if you don't bring it up, there's one thing that a friend of mine taught me
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
20 years ago that was such a life changer. But let's get in. You're the star. Let's get in. How do you reinvent the
Okay.
food you love?
So the one of the quits was quit being on a diet,
Mhm.
and the reason for that is somebody is imposing their food and their preferences on you. Okay, and as human beings, we don't like that. Whether we try and make ourselves believe it or not, we don't like that. So the principle that I have and that Life Hacker is based around is a very simple principle: eat the food you like. What we're going to do is we're going to just take a look at it and very slowly make changes that you like, that you can live with, but reduce the calorie consumption and make it a little healthier. So I'll give you an example. I love guacamole and chips, okay? And the way I used to eat guacamole and chips is I'd crack open a bag of chips, I'd snap open the guacamole, and I'd sit there and eat until I was full. Okay, the 20 minutes of stuff going down that doesn't need to be, doesn't need to go down. And I guesstimate that I would eat 500-600 calories worth of snack. Well, that's just absurd. So the first thing you have to do is what I call bento boxing, okay? And that is just decide on an amount of guacamole, decide on an amount of chips that is reasonable, okay? And put those into containers or a plate, put the original containers away, okay? So that they're nowhere to be found, and that's what you get to eat. Now, there's a very simple idea of eating that people need to kind of relearn, and it's this. If I'm on my phone and I'm eating, okay, I don't know when those chips go in my mouth. I don't taste them. I don't feel them. I'm just going through the motions of doing that. And what I want people to do is just at the beginning, I just want them to stop, and I want them to take that chip and dip it into that juicy guacamole, and it's sitting on that chip, and I just want you to smell it and just chew on it and just enjoy it. Like feel the crunchy and feel the soft and spicy flavor of the guacamole and enjoy it. And do that and look at your food. And I'm not saying that you're going to eat like that all the time, but you're retraining yourself to understand that this is food that's going in and that you can perceive it. When we eat watching TV or something like that, it's just emotion. We don't even know.
Yeah.
Another very good example is actually I'll get to that in a sec. So bento boxing. So we go from the opening packages, we bento box, we put a certain amount there, and we can actually measure how much that is. So if it's, if a serving size of chips is 12 chips for 150 calories, and a quarter cup or a third of a cup of guacamole is, 150 calories, you've just eaten 300 calories. So you know how much you've done, right? So
Right.
we're getting into this whole idea of the data, you're understanding. So the next thing is to try and reduce those bento box sizes so that this takes time. This is over weeks. You just reduce it down. Then the third part of it is, I sometimes think I'm a movie director. So you can be a movie director of your food because you're going to be couch auditioning lots of food to take over one of the roles. So I was looking at the guacamole and chips, and it's like guac has to stay, chips, eh. So I started auditioning food to take the place of the chips. So I tried carrots, sweet mini peppers, celery, all these things. They had crunch, they had all these things. And I would try it, and it's like, yeah, I kind of like this. I don't try something else. And in the end, I had kind of a roster of things that I could use. And so the first two that I really loved were sweet red peppers and sugar snap peas. And I would dip those into the guacamole. Now, let's look at this now. We've gone from 700 calories for a snack. We brought it down to about 300, And now with the sugar snap peas and the guacamole, my snack's 150 calories. It's delicious, it's crunchy, it's satisfying. I can eat that and I'm done. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And that is because I took my time and I consciously was good to myself and said, this is okay. You're okay. Don't freak out. There's a little less there. You'll be fine. Understanding that 20 minutes after you eat, you should feel full, not like I've got to feel full now. All those things help. So you start doing that with your food, and very soon you would reinvent things so that it's based on your personality and your lifestyle and the things you like, and that becomes normal. I haven't had chips and guacamole in 2 years, and I have no desire to have it. It's not part of my, my world anymore. So
Exactly.
that's a very good thing.
Exactly. And I
Um,
think your message is so important to, especially, I'll say, Gen Xers and even down into Gen Yers. And the reason I say it is this is because we've become a society of instant gratification. So, what started off as something simple back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, the TV dinners, okay, this is going to save time because mom doesn't have to cook every single meal or dad doesn't have to cook every single meal, has now turned into the microwave society where everything is that quick and people don't think about it. So especially, I mean, if you're in your 40s and your 50s and you found yourself into this whole instant gratification thing because you got so much going on with the kids and everything else, listening to what Paul is talking about, following what Paul's talking about is going to help you by extension change the life of your children because you're going to do things differently and then they're going to see you do things differently and then when they see you enjoy it they're going to want to do things and it's going to be a snowball effect. It's going to be the way we're going to be able to change generationally back to it'll be the way you'll help change generations. Like as a quick example, there's a new program on TLC, I think it's on TLC, called Rattled, if I'm not mistaken. And the short version is they interview one of the couples, and the woman says, "This baby is going to have to fit into our lives, not the other way around." And the husband kind of chuckles, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. That's what people thought 100 years ago. Kids fit into their parents' lifestyle. Parents controlled the house hundreds of years ago. At some point along the way, kids have taken control. So it's the same thing where everything kind of cycles back. And the reason I bring it up, Paul, is because people might be looking at what you're saying as a lot of work, and it is more work than what they do today. But it's going to bring 10 times more benefit than just eating things quickly and just going about doing things the way they are today,
I,
right?
I can confirm what you said because when my kids started seeing the foods I was eating and that I was enjoying it, there would be many examples where they would go reach for something and my alternative was there and they go, oh, okay, I'll eat that. For example, one of my hacks, I love chocolate ice cream and I still have chocolate ice cream sometimes, but my alternative, which I adore, are dark chocolate covered frozen bananas.
Mm.
And they come in a package and I think it's 120 calories or something, and if you just eat them slowly, they're just absolutely, they're crunchy, they're sweet, they're delicious, they're great. And so when my kids start asking for and taking my dark chocolate bananas, there's hell to pay, but they like it,
Yeah.
and I have dozens of examples of that. And so you have to understand that if you commit to something and you're persistent and every day you do it, people around you will start to see what you're doing and be curious about it and try it, and you will influence. And I've got a podcast on that topic alone, but it's
Epic.
amazing. You kind of radiate this thing and people start to pick up on it and it changes everybody's lives for the positive.
Epic.
So
Well,
think of
we're
yourself as a leader.
exactly. So I'm going to throw in one of my own. I'm going to throw it back to you for any
Oh
final
yeah.
quick thoughts, and then I'm going to wrap it up and then I'll tell people how they should be getting in touch with you. So my one quick hack that somebody showed me about 20 years ago was instead of in tuna fish putting mayonnaise, use apples. And the first time I heard it, I went, "You gotta be kidding me. Apples in tuna fish?" And I'll tell you something. I love it. You cut up the apples nice and small, you mix up the drained tuna fish with it, and it tastes better than it's almost as liquidy as it's almost as juicy as putting mayonnaise in. 'Cause let's face it, that's the only reason you put the mayonnaise in
It's
the tuna
fat,
fish anyway. Well, yeah, and to get it all congealed together,
lubricated.
lubricated. There you
Yeah,
go. And I mean, I've tried. I actually like a lot of the fat-free stuff, regardless of all the research and everything. I kind of like a lot of the fat-free stuff. But the minute I put the apples in, it was like, wow, this is an incredible taste. And I think that's what when you're talking about hacking food, when you eat something the way it's always been prepared, it's okay, it's your normal. But sometimes when you change things, you hit this, wow, this tastes 1,000%
right.
better
It's yours.
than what I used to taste. So Paul, before I tell people how they can get in touch with you and the epic offer you have for people, is there any last final words or final thoughts you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Yeah, I mean, and I've been kind of walking around this, but um, it's very simple. If you live with a purpose, a challenge, a thing that you want to do, you will find everything you do in your day moves towards that purpose and moves you forward. So if you have a purpose of being healthy and losing weight, and if you want to look good in a dress or in a t-shirt, it doesn't matter. That's fine. But if you keep that, in your head and you work towards that, you can achieve anything. So live with purpose and live. You'll find that everything you do in your day works you towards that goal, and it's amazing. It works. So I would definitely encourage people to, get off their duffs and give that a try. So
Epic. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for being an epic guest. Folks,
my pleasure.
I just threw a website up on the screen, lhdiet.com/VCNTV. What I want you to do is head over there. Paul's got something real special if you're one of the first 30 people. He's doing an early access beta for a program that he's got. And I think the program is Weight Loss Step by Step. It's a weight loss. Is that the actual name of the program, Weight Loss Step by Step, Paul?
Weight loss step-by-step guide. Yeah,
Guide.
and
Okay.
basically it's a everything I've learned, and it's an online course, and I'm basically teaching you how to step by step make these changes so that they become permanent and become part of your lifestyle.
Epic, and it's only open to, he's got a beta that's open for 30 folks, and depending on when this show actually airs, because there might be less than 30 available, so I'd head over right now, lhdiet.com/VCNTV. That'll let Paul know you came from us and you saw his episode here on Expert Showcase and on VCNTV, the Video Content Network. And I hope you get a chance to get one of these 30 early access beta slots, because from just talking with Paul, from interviewing and checking out his background, I know he's somebody that can help you. I mean, as you all know, I talked about it a little bit before, I've gone through my own weight loss journey, and a lot of what Paul says falls right into what I learned during my weight loss journey. So if you like these episodes and you're on here and you trust us, which obviously you do because you're coming back and watching again, head over to Paul's site, lhdiet.com/VCNTV. Check out what's going on. See if there's still slots open in that early access beta. And then when you're done with that, go back and watch. If you haven't already, watch Paul's hero's journey. Learn how he ended up losing weight, getting healthier, even though he was kind of active at the beginning. Learned through a magical piece of metal that fell out of the sky. You'll have to figure out what that is by going back and watching the expert showcase, watching the hero's journey piece of today's episode. Find out how he was able to lose weight, change his life, hack his life, make it better, feel healthier, and live better on a daily basis. And folks, once again, Paul, thank you for being an epic guest on today's show. Folks, until we meet again, make it
Yes.
you're welcome, Paul. Folks, make it an epic day. To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.